Dāgī jīnsō jīvē sōnām jī, Ndōlā bīñjī sāngī dhūparāyīshū. Chidāng sō jī sōnām lā, Chāñchō bārtō dāni gyabsōn jī, Dāgī jīnsō jīvē sōnām, Ndōlā bīñjī sāngī dhūparāyīshū. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I may take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. In the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Shantideva, he mentioned this. This is the cause of the suffering, and the realizations of the truth grasping is object of negation. The cause of the suffering is identified as ignorant truth grasping, and to cease that ignorant truth grasping, there is no other option than understanding of emptiness, or emptiness concept. Whether one follows religious belief or not, emptiness is the only kind of remedy. So whatever practice that we do, it becomes meaningful, effective, if we try to put practice with the support of this understanding of emptiness. If not actual understanding, but simply kind of generating aspiration of emptiness. And the object of negation, or that needs to be negated, refers to conventional appearances of the phenomena to us. The conventional, the way things appears to us, the mode of their kind of appearance, as if they exist independently, self-sufficiently, intrinsically, that appearance that we have in our ordinary sense is not reality. So that needs to be ceased, that needs to be blocked in order to understand the reality behind that conventionality. And we always, emphasize the importance of intention when listening to teachings. Not only intention, but we usually call three purities. Three purities, especially when listening to whether the teaching is Mahayana's teaching or not. From your side, it is important to have motivation of altruism or awakening mind. And the three purity refers to first being the subject, the teaching itself. The teaching itself should be pure in its form, means authentic, teaching that is that is not contradictory to the Buddha's own sutra. And for that, we don't need to talk about anything. These teaching in the mind training itself is a great, authentic teaching. The second is speech, or the purity of the speech of a spiritual teacher. Here, speech or the teaching itself, and when teacher gives teaching, teaching should be there should be clarity in the teaching. There should be sort of when listen pleasurable, joyful, and precise in the meaning. But Geshe-la is saying that probably he won't have any of these those qualities. So there's a Hindi mantra that Geshe-la is saying, Sarva Mangalam, saying that he doesn't have any of this. And then third purity is the purity of the mind of audience, the listener. When listen to a pure teaching from pure teacher, your mind shouldn't be tainted by what we called 8 worldly concerns. Shouldn't be tainted by any afflicted emotions. Shouldn't be tainted by objective. Shouldn't be tainted by thought, which is just kind of this life limited. intention. The another way of saying is that from audience side, try to have a good intention of altruism, thoughts of benefiting others. So therefore, whatever practice that you do, whether you are teaching or whether you are listening, try to have all of these together, three: purity, authenticity, and of the text, and teacher's kind of speech, and then one's own kind of motivation or thought. So as mentioned before, those three purities, three qualifications must be qualified both from the teacher's side as well as students or listeners' side. And Krishna saying for himself, of course, there's never even thought about gaining, not have the bad intentions such as gaining a good reputation, becoming a famous, or gaining some profit in this listening and learning. He never had any of those intentions at all. And whatever text that he came about, he always his first thought is that there's that not knowing, that he has this thought that he doesn't know much about than what he knows. So there's always more things that he doesn't know rather than he knows, and so therefore this kind of feeling or intention of getting some benefit, maybe becoming famous or respect or whatever, nothing from his there's no basis for him to kind of arise those kind of thoughts. and we gathered here, for teaching and learning, and during this kind of short period, for 1 to 2 hours, not long, but in this short period, it is best and most beneficial for all of us in kind of collectively doing our best, so although he doesn't have ability to kind of deconstruct and explain the in-depth meaning of great text, but he's doing with his best intention of giving whatever knowledge that he has related to text and teachings.
점된데 랑디 마다 왜 간사기 추순기 간사 추송은 미자도 냠발 교다리 어다티 파 제용디 발라 야서 탐지 김비 아니 남들 탈람 사진 하나 갈수는 기부 담바 까나이는 미시비 내가 탈이 옆에 매동지 이제 소라 어다티 인디 발라 와서 초중이 운동하지 찌찌나 카다 찌찌를 괜찮아 미시바 자세죠 버리 균도 자세죠 버리 대나 마음도 그거 전부 냠매적인지 장주 선만 매바 영인지 텔레 장사서 저거 15개 진거 어떻게 인정하나 맞아 비균도 있지 sem 야인도 받아지 랑 ini tujuh yang digelar jam ni jam ni sen yang ni apa sama ini sangat cerita mah di lidi jemari kut solo kerja mah dia omare zoom itu lagi kalau yang omare zoom nanti niti di zoom ini je kemba ke omare wada ti tunta di gambar ni be ni ngala kemro chatan shegore wada ti kemro ti koten di toache ini ni be nala semgeri 거든 차단 수고하래. 이 거든 또 같이 아니지. 거기 있는 삼상 이 개변체 물어봐. 그 지지라. 거기 자가지게 나발래. 두시는. 그래서 저쪽은 뜬디는데 미소 수고와. 어디 전전에 나는 수고를 야서 단지 캠베트 수고했다. 이 망배는 다들 퇴행보다 중앙되는 그래서 저쪽에 빼겠지 모르겠어.
얘라 냠바 주메지 디자베시드로 딜로산 열하마치 그는 시에서는 그런 저번에 그냥 빵을 줬었네.
굴롱기 괜찮겠다. 굴롱기 저한테 저기 있으면 바지. 이미 괜찮 용문다. 말아도 생기 나젠 집에나 굴롱이 괜찮아래. 아니 개발 아니 가지 지진 취기단 대소나 굴롱이 괜찮아래. 딱히 많이 바지. 자주기 생기잖아. 생들이 좀 많게 요만 요만에 좀 많게 요만 딱배 지는 취기단데 땡 잡아니는도 어떻게 이제 자주기 생기지마다 그러는 게 맞아가 뭐니 차고 아니 미다 미마이 봐 괜찮지 미마이 받았다 어제 괜찮지 하버드 용해 요만 두개 딱배 하버드 이나 니나 맞았다 용해 땡 내가 제대로 되나네 니걸 되는데 용해지
Page 95, last paragraph. Not the second last paragraph. The italicized sentence is the root text. Don't speak of others' incomplete qualities. You should give up criticizing human and inhuman beings out of spite and should not point out their mistakes. Human and inhuman, there is not much probably possibilities of pointing out mistakes of inhuman beings, being a human. But most kind of sort of highest risk is criticizing out of spite or whatever negative emotions towards that people with whom you are. So not kind of criticizing out of negative thought. In the sutra, Buddha's own teaching, he mentioned that like me and myself can kind of made estimate or approximation, but ordinary human being cannot judge or estimate another ordinary human being. That could become a source of downfallment. He gave this kind of warning for ordinary people not knowing other thought and then coming out of all kinds of criticism, out of negative thought might be a cause of a great downfallment. And further kind of explanation for that Buddha's a statement in the sutra we find in the commentary of Gyaltsab Rinpoche's text, and in that text he used the metaphor of it's a fire underneath the earth or dirt, and from the surface level, you don't see there's a kind of fire underneath. But but without knowing, if you walk on it, you might burn your feet. So therefore, always kind of be cautious and careful, especially being a practitioner of greater vehicle. And this is considered as a very intense kind of negative action, especially for the bodhisattvas, those who are holding or the practice of altruism. So practitioners of Mahayana, one must be really kind of careful, not kind of misjudging or just kind of throwing your opinion without knowing or out of negative intention. But instead, of course, there are a lot of things that you can do. Spend more time on thinking, contemplating on loving kindness and compassion, and just like the recitation of refuge and bodhicitta prayer that we do at the beginning of it's only one verse. It's not hard to memorize, even if you are able to memorize, it won't give you any sense of arrogance or pride. It's just a one verse. But that one verse, first two sentences, as you know, explains the practice and concept of refuge practice, and second two sentences deals with the practice of altruism. So just kind of knowing that sentence and words, and then reminding yourself constantly should be really kind of helpful. In the Perfection of Wisdom text by great Master Kunchen Jamin Shepa, he also has the same kind of advice related to here. Basically, he says less talk is more beautiful. So not knowing much about the topic and then talking a lot might kind of expose your ignorance. You might be saying a lot of things that are contradictory, not clear. So therefore, it is better to be kind of have a less talk. And the another benefit is that less talk will kind of shut the door for many might be kind of negative thoughts and negative speech. But for ordinary people like us, like him, Kajila said, it's really hard to maintain this kind of behavior. We always tend to talk more than what needs to be talking.
around the niti never chow.
So what's the kind of job was in Joe Ham is somebody.
That is it.
Teachers was Jiburi what I'm Japan like this.
That is it.
Think came to the law show.
Around the team never chow. Shit and bunny. Jibu. Oh, that is. 30%
the next, root text, don't concern yourself with others' business. You should neither think nor say such thing as, quote, I'm able to cope because I'm a practitioner of mind training. Otherwise, it would be impossible to deal with such a person, unquote. So, that kind of thought, I think, it shows what, kind of, there's a message in there. So it says, don't be kind of, don't do that, basically.
rango meeting kabla semjen tonje tuya yomare semjen tonje ba minimi nyande tuye tujen minimi nyande jin dugu nidu in chek do namse gi sera ki tani ani rangi gila yuri ki chaba yomba hapo ani ti ani jima de lobur yomba hapo ti wange ani jima chonta jine ani ran chanju minimi nyande tuya de logic ke baina ti tron dumba de zochana nigido miare oda tin digala dindawi dumba ni semjila semje sego ngone marantu khadi tanda lama jugi tape kitchen semje la ani pe kasfor semje chuma tsunji gi tsuto yondgala 딱 만다니 처럼 충분히 당연지 기존처럼 충분히 당연 상이 있어버도 생기대 유의 배 냥진 줘야 생겨내 전된지 보아 어떻게 쉬우지게 전부 잘 연주가 인대지 셈지기 딱 원에 란도 이제 덴디스템 길랭 가자지 인친제라 란도 이제기 상로도 균 코레야면 돼 계속해서 말아 와서 딘디 이거라 지구대와 탐제 보너서인데 딘디지로 보고도 왔어.
Next, root text. Keep up every hope of reward. Page 96. The fruits of your meditation should not be polluted with self-interest. The text says, keep up every hope of reward. You should not expect any mundane prosperity in this life or future lives as a result of your meditation, nor should you seek the states of liberation and omniscience out of self-interest. This is because the state of enlightenment should be sought in the interest of sentient beings. Ornament for clear realization says, the awakening mind is generated for others' welfare, the wish for perfectly accomplished enlightenment. So, this apply equally to every Buddhist practice, positive activities that we created. Of course, such as practice of generosity. When you give something to somebody else, the thought should be always with pure, unconditional, thought, without any expectation in return. If there's expectation, that becomes bias mentality, tainted. And especially that kind of thought, tainted bias, hoping for reward and expectation, has no kind of space in the mind of altruism. The altruism is really altruistic mind is totally pure, and when there is a kind of thoughts of benefiting oneself, even in a little bit of self-cherishing thought, that makes that thought not altruistic mind. So therefore, altruism mind is pure, and here this is actually the ornament of clear realization, most kind of commonly cited a definition of what altruistic mind is, or bodhicitta. And as we often say, bodhicitta or altruistic mind is composed of two aspirations. So there's a two aspiration. The first one we call the aspiration of cause, or causal aspiration. The second is aspiration of accompanying factor or support factor. So first one is cause, the second is kind of supporting factor. And when we look at this, the awakening mind is generated for others' welfare. And the first cause is in the translation it's others' welfare. So others' welfare, under this comes when engaged in the benefiting other sentient beings, as mentioned before, there is no bias mentality. There is no partiality, of thought. And typically, we find using a Buddha himself as an example. For example, if on one side somebody is kind of cutting off the pieces of Buddha's body, and on the other side, if somebody is applying, a lotion of sandalwood tree, kind of serving him. From Buddhist perspective, there's no differences at all. There's no bias mentality. There's no partiality at all from enlightened mind, or you can say here altruistic mind. And so when serving other sentient beings out of altruism, you should have such a thought that under your thought, every sentient being can, include it. And of course, especially when people that we considered, enemy or disliking or hate, those deserve more kind of special attention. And in the mind training, as we see before, if you have an ability of practice, then you can transform your outlook towards those people. And instead of kind of letting yourself being harmed, you can look at those and embrace them as a teacher of patience. And without those people, you cannot have an opportunity of your patience. So here, this truly becomes a mind training practice. It doesn't matter how much that individual is trying to help you, but if you wear your what we call armor of patience, if you transform your thought to that individual, it doesn't matter how much you are kind of throwing from outside, but within your mind you can maintain that calmness, undisturbed, and that is your benefit. So that becomes a true mind training practice. And so the first one, the others' welfare. Basically, this others' welfare is a thought of protecting or benefiting others, every other sentient beings. And another way of saying is that this is a compassionate thought. This is a compassion. So that's the causal altruistic mind. That is the cause. You have these strong wishes to liberate other sentient beings, free other sentient beings from a suffering. But then you look at yourself, and in this kind of state, this kind of being, I'm not at all to fulfill this kind of great objective. So then you look at yourself, and when you're looking at yourself, then comes the second kind of altruistic component, second aspiration, which is trying to attain enlightenment. So you look at yourself, and you look at yourself and your ability, your capacity, whether you are really capable of freeing every sentient being from suffering or not. And then you look at your kind of your mind, and you use the wisdom of discriminating what is bad and what is good, and then you analyze and you examine the nature of the mind itself. And when you realize that the nature of the mind is pure, that all afflicted emotions can be separable, and that if you train, you can attain eventually Buddhahood. And so here, the second accompanying aspiration, you are looking, or you are targeting at the Buddhahood and trying to attain enlightenment. So that's the second component of the second aspiration of the altruistic mind. So you can see here, usually when we say altruistic mind or bodhicitta, it is composed of two aspirations. The first one is wanting other sentient beings free from suffering, and the second is attaining enlightenment for yourself. So it's a combination of both. This time also. So altruistic mind or bodhicitta is the thought that kind of if we look strictly in the Buddhist path, it consists, or it exists from small path of preparation until the highest level of enlightenment. So this altruism extend wide range of kind of time or period, and even when one attain enlightenment, he or she uses same thought, altruism, in benefiting others. So the point here is that give up every hope of reward. This is for somebody who is totally engaged in the practice of altruism, bodhicitta. As mentioned before, there's really no space for this kind of thought. Not kind of even the smallest, slightest of self-cherishing thought in the mind of altruistic mind. So that is that mind, Vikajala says, a kind of understanding that we should have for this particular root text.
Adati kado lama chibe nala karsungu. Rapkar lesson chimbe ngani ne zesungu. Raptu karbe. Karfo zamani ba raptu karwa sedigala. Tangone janjugi sende ila jugo ale. Raptu karwa jugo kanbe. Randu ichi tante tawanyin jugo mara janjugi sen sengide. Rang jinjin le nugi yata randu ichi da marewa. Jenden bashi mado dindawi sen giden kansa de jenden bashi mado 공부 kona yo ma. Ate dingi diga 직 ngone nyumu be chindala marewa yinsa rap karwa sesinta isu dindiga la ara par kesem chende ngani be dadan ngani magan semjena zeta. 아 jenden bashi tubala karbu wa chaikende. Dedi yawgundin tule 라지만 때 시가 세부송도 아랑던 두블라 나냥 예배시 젠데 머지 두블라 조와 젠당 모시 마르케 접어서 젠데 집이견 참아서 세부송도 어떻게 보내래 아랑던 신데 소소 위초든지가 다시 맞이랑 제와 대야 위쳐야 던자 위에 젠라인에 배 리드 전에 전전 제비 차켄지를 선도단 대란도는 누구미도 선도단 저거는 시작해본 도와 란던들라 나임데 젠든 버시 둘러져가 안지 소수 리 먼저 안지 젠은 못 살들어가라 아 젠든 캐는 살들이 젠든 저거에 계속 버시 쓰리요 코네던데 양양마도 란도인 지긴 나면 마레베 지고 바티용알라 다 나한테도 내려 뭐시가 두려 말어 뭐지 율리 레논 두디야 소진 베지잖아 뭐시 두디야라 용수조나 나와도 같이 쉐도와 어때 라이 쟁도 뭐시 라이 미도 뭐시 뭐시 마요 아니 젠즈데 젠 아요 어때 젠가 스디가라 펜나 그거기 지 양장 나야라 지 통거를 써 어때 되지 이 데스조라 젠데 다른 것도야 미서도야 근데 요래 어때 기도 젠가 뭐시 마스 어때 젠는 것이 애니 마케 봤습니다. 또오니 말아서 드무 비시나라 용도. 그래서 수지 세배나 가자된 주고 년보 년자여봐 주고인바 제가 민너가 인바 어떤 시행고 와 그거는 마케 보면 괜시로 보고 와. 젠다 뭐시 마케 애니 저선 좀 보고 와. 답에 라냐 소리지 많이 지라다 그거라 너 내가 젠나이나 양기도 안 말해. 아니 가서이나 집 저선 친구고 와. 그래서 젠든들이 차이를 해서 쏜다. 야 근데 그거라 나랑 좀 오늘 개발팀이 연연 찍인지 있나? 아직 계속라 마음바나 이 톱나서는 뭐람 춘진이 때. 근데 소소에 가서 좀 메시지지 톱스잖아. 벤더 용도 있어. 벤더에 계시게 통용해야 돼. 뒤서서 누군데?
숨다 가만 앞줄시. We find kind of same mention in the Guru Puja text, beginning with the with the nature or with the being of mind or thought, which is absolutely white, virtuous. Begins with that kind of sentence. And here, again, this refers to the mind of altruism. Not only, in this text we find altruistic mind as something virtuous, of wide, but it used word kind of very strong emphasis of absolute, complete, complete positive. And complete in a sense that when you look at the cause, when you look at the result, when you look at the nature, every aspect of the altruistic mind is totally positive. So again, as mentioned before, when in the practice of altruistic mind, there is no it shouldn't be tainted by ego mind, self-cherishing thought. It should be purely, completely unconditional kind of thoughts of benefiting others, and that altruistic mind should be totally pure of any kinds of afflicted emotions. And we find also mentioned by on the same kind of topic by Gyawa Gyundundup of the first Dalai Lama in his handwritten note, beginning with in the note he kind of talks about other kind of other necessary important parts or factors or conditions that is needed to fulfill the benefits of others. So he begins with saying that not making any effort at all to fulfill one's own self-cherishing thought, and then always engaging in the practice of benefiting others, and then he comes up with these kind of lists such as divine eyes, miracle power, expert in speech, having a great practice of tolerance or patience. So some of these, he comes up with this list, which further kind of helps practitioners to fulfill serving or benefiting other sentient beings. These are the qualities that practitioners can, attain through practices, such as the divine eyes. Some animals, such as vulture or eagle, able to see from a very distant places, and that kind of quality, and miracle powers, and expert in using a speech, or maybe just how to talk, when expressing through a verb or words, it's really pleasant. It's really kind of appealing. It's really kind of meaningful, beneficial for others. And of course, the practice of patience or tolerance, not being like a scorpion. Scorpion, if you touch it, immediately kind of reacts. You shouldn't be that kind of having that kind of emotional reaction to everything. So have a practice of patience, and those qualities, although of course not possess at this moment, but something that can be we can be wished for, or make a praise at least, or maybe make an effort to attain in the future, so that we can engage in the practice of benefiting others.
제 두젠나 두젠 제데 자나 소소 포가지고 신디 분고 왔다 간지 야니 베 풀라 소도리아 내가 내 나자키야 간지 되는 거 왔다 때나지 레저 간지 제가 있나 아니 가지 군노나 깨만 차다 아니 유정문 주선 창을 지지 뭐하서 레저 다게 중국 있게 되리 지자만 질 하제 zampi lui semba chawai inyans tout en dena chi hinche bataros jil tezon gonsum yenden le sangi ge kopam jungyans dedalan jiden chigi ki mando datan dagen zimbadan dena tarbadan tanje kendi sosa chigi seltadi datan dagen ziba arhantan ichi tamone ni tati rede 한편 이제 왕기 년아서 돈이 떠나 체비냥데 마서 탐지게 되고 돈이도 이 가서 장주기 선나냐 냠내만한 아니 randu iche la ni be tutu thora tamji bin du me inza tati ite marwa ye lensa te ile ma ta tini idela ji da kan da kin zin ba se kanji han jin zin o randu iche oda tigi ni ne be tamji kin be sosa chen su tamji ta sosa chen 같이 삼직점을 통과할 수 있는 거다. 돈다기 레워 지지게 대다다 만들면 배차도 간지나 지 라도 이치다 만들봐. 라 진진다 만들봐. 간지나 만들봐. 진진다 만들봐. 어떻게 보고 와래? 쉬우지 되지 뭐.
Explanation of what appears in the text as maxims. Avoid poisonous food. Root text. Generally, good food nourishes the body, but if it is poisoned, it can cause death. Similarly, the state of enlightenment springs from listening, contemplation, and so forth. But if they are polluted by misconceptions such as the 8 worldly concerns and selfish thoughts of I and mine, they can take the life of liberation and omniscience. So please don't let whatever merit you acquire be sullied by them. So, avoid poisonous food, the metaphor that you use here, as we see in the explanation of whatever positive activities that we do, it shouldn't be polluted by, 8 worldly concerns and this self-cherishing thought. Egocentric mind of I and mine. Otherwise, if your practice get tainted, then it becomes a poison. It will take away the life of or life force of enlightenment and liberation instead of benefiting you. I'll take a break here.